Hello and welcome back to Quilts by Carmel. I am Joe Carmel and we are celebrating Black quilters again this week for Black History Month, February 2024. And this week we want to quilt like Rosie Lee Tompkins. And I just can't wait to show you this wonderful woman. She was born as Effie Mae Martin in 1936 and she passed away in 2006, but we're going to dive into her work of art as anyway. So she was born to sharecropping parents in Arkansas. She learned to quilt from her mom, and then she moved to Northern California, Oakland, Richmond area, 1958, where she became a nurse. Yeah, kind of similar, right? And then in 1980, she had some mental health issues. She started having some paranoia and possibly a nervous breakdown. And so she turned back to quilting, which helped give her a peace of mind. And she says her quilting, let me read it to you. She believed her quilts were an act of communion with God, and her quilts themselves were the result of prayers. So she used quilting to cope and get her peace of mind back, as well as while she was praying and communion with God. So I'm just super excited to bring this wonderful woman to you. Let's just look at some of her work, okay? Exhibition book. She had an exhibition at Berkeley, and I think some of them still may be in Berkeley. But she uses a lot of scraps, guys. Let me just show you some of these. And then we're going to get on the internet, and I'm going to really introduce her to you guys. Fantastic. Just so much color, so much brightness. And then even some darkness in the brightness. It's just really fabulous, guys. I just overwhelmed looking at these. I want to show you some, see if I can find some current ones. Or more current. Oh, here we go. Here's one where she put the scriptures in the quilt top. So it's just super exciting. I can't wait to show you the website and all about Miss Rosie Lee Tompkins. Okay, let's just jump into her work. I'm going to go to the internet and we are going to look at her body of work. Okay, I just put in Rosie Lee Tompkins. This is the Berkeley Art Museum and Pacific Film Archive, I believe. Yeah, got it right. They did an exhibit on her work in 2020, and let's just take a look at some of her work, okay? This was in 2005. It's and then 1986, but let's go to the slideshow while I tell you a little something about her. I'm going to make this a little bigger so we can explore her wonderful work. And I'll just tell you how it came about that we know about her. There was a man named Eli Leon, and he was a quilt collector and quilt scholar, and he collected African-American quilts. He saw one of her quilts in a flea market, and he just had to find her. She wasn't really willing to sell them because she became very private after the mental health break. So he convinced her somehow to sell her quilts. And just look at this. Isn't this is the scrappiest, funnest quilt I've ever seen. It just looks marvelous. 2002. And she used everything. She used wool, polyester, buttons, embroidery, double knit. She used anything and everything. I think it's a compliment to our ancestors and how we had to use the scraps just to provide some basic, the basic necessities like a blanket or a covering, okay? So I just think it's pretty fabulous, her work. But he bought all of her, Eli Leon, he bought all of her quilts and he donated them to the Berkeley Art Museum. And that's what we're looking at today. It's just totally amazing. It truly is. Just look at her depth of and breadth of her work. There's also a family guide that you can look at. You can just see if I can open it. Yes, Just really beautiful quilts, just awesome. This is the New York Times article. Um, if you have a moment, take the time to read it. This is her standing next to her quilts in 1985. Remember, she was born Effie Mae Martin, okay? But just look at this work. It's just fantastic, guys. It's amazing. I want to show you one more and then we'll stop, okay? But this is probably my favorite of hers. Just, I love all the color and the movement. And then if you look very closely, you can see that she has a cross in here and she has written scriptures in here. I say written, but embroidered. Just very fascinating, guys. Truly fascinating. And now a favorite of mine as well. So I am super excited to share what I've learned about Miss Rosie Lee Tompkins with you. And I hope you take the time to dive in. I will link the websites in the description below and just check her out. I just think it's amazing how she went to the Lord and she went to quilting to help cope with her mental illness. Sorry, but it's just a really uplifting story. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We have one more episode we're going to do this week of Quilt Like to celebrate Black History Month. But if you would, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Bye, guys, and I'll see you soon.